All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, September 14th. We got a smaller than usual MLB slate to dive into today, and we're going to do just that. We're going to go through each and every game. I'm going to give you my lean or leans on the games like always, but all of my final plays. So if you do want to fade me and fade where I'm actually rolling with myself, those plays will be in the pinned comments. A few nights ago we go 4-0, then 2 nights ago we go 3-1, and last night we're feeling good, we have the momentum and everything, and then we go 0-3. Not exactly what we want to see. I don't even really need to say that woulda, coulda, shouldas. All I'll say is the Guardians had a 5-2 lead going into the 8th, and they let up a home run and then blow it in extras. That's the only one we probably could have pulled out, but the Phillies and the Braves over, that one didn't look like it was ever close to cashing. And then Diamondbacks Mets, the Diamondbacks still have rug burns on their ass for how much the Mets dragged them. So not the best night from us guys, and our ride of the day gets pushed to today because it was in the Red Sox Yankees game. So yeah, that was last night. Now we're moving forward. Let's go ahead and bounce back tonight's small slate, which is kind of stinky because it's like we don't want to force it, we don't want to dig ourselves out of that hole, but let's just go woosa. And remember that we went 4-0 and 3-1. That's a 7-1 stretch, right? Just because we lose 0-3 doesn't mean that we just killed whatever run we're on. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a peek at game number 1 here. Before we do, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. We are cruising to 30,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough. We show up here even on the days that we lose. You guys should know that by now. And even with that being said, like, we try and have a good time even on the days that we lose, because that's what you're gonna have in sports betting. You'll have winning days, you'll have losing days. Hopefully we all have more winning days than losing days, but you can't just be, you know, the friend in your group that's like only talking about their wins or everything like that. And that'd be super easy for me to do, not really talk about the losses, talk about the wins, have the power with the camera, but that's BS. We got to be transparent here. So it's good to keep a level head on your shoulders in this industry. But let's go ahead and jump in here. We got Pittsburgh taking on Washington here. Pittsburgh winning the last 2 games here so far in this series. Washington did squeak out game number 1, but it's been Pittsburgh ever since. 5-1 in game number 2, 7-6 in game number 3. While I do recognize the value on the Nationals right now at plus 142 for 2 teams that, you know, I could kind of put into the same bucket, Mitch Keller is pitching for Pittsburgh, and if you throw out his game against the Braves, the guy was kind of getting back to what he was at the beginning of the season, right? So I'm going to lean towards Pittsburgh as well as the over. I don't necessarily think that this is gonna be a final play, either one of these picks. I don't really love the spot. I think I've said that every game this series, which is unfortunate for any of you guys looking in for my true like insights on this game, because I really don't just like this. I don't really like the spot all that much, but I do think that, you know, Washington may be able to put up some runs here. Keller struggled against Washington in the past. We're looking at last year. He pitched 3 2/3 against them, 4 earned runs. And then later on in the year, 4 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 earned runs. Now that's a different Washington team. It's a different Mitch Keller. But nonetheless, kind of looking at that and saying, okay, give me some runs. But I still think the Pirates edge out Josiah Gray, who's on the mound for them today. He's been super on the mound for the Nationals. He's been super inconsistent. 3.4 ERA over his last 5 there. It gets even worse when you look at it like more recently. Last 3, 1.83 whip with a 6 flat ERA. So give me runs in this game, and also I'll slightly lean towards Pittsburgh, but a lot of juice to be paying. All right, and speaking of our night last night, make sure to go check out the Fade Me store, guys. FadeMe.store. We have tons of products over there right now, a lot of cool products. Help support what we're doing here, help us grow. Again, we have tons of products. This is just the homepage. We do have the Fadecation collection, really comfortable button-up shirts for a party, a day drink, anything like that. And then if you're ready for football, ready to hunker down, go ahead and check out the hoodie section. And we are collecting emails now at this time. You'll get a 15% discount with your first order. I'll put that link to sign up for the emails in the pinned comment as well. Even if you just want to show your support and join our email list, I do think that it would be worth it. We have tons of new products coming out, tons of exclusive offers coming to the email list. So go sign up, guys. It's free, like, and you can unsubscribe at any moment from the email list. But I'll put that first link in the pinned comment there to sign up for the email list. You guys get a discount on products and everything like that. But yeah, great way to support the channel. I get super excited every time I get a notification that we got a sale come through on my phone, and especially when there's days that it's like boom, boom, boom. best days ever. So continue supporting, guys. Cannot thank you guys enough. Go check out the Fade Me store. Right now we're looking at Detroit taking on the Cincinnati, I almost said Cincinnati Bengals. This mind almost just went to football. Cincinnati Reds here. Reds pulling out the win yesterday, 4-3. I did like Erod in that game. We didn't end up pulling the trigger, and good thing we didn't. They lose that game 4-3 here. Today, Detroit slight favorites in this game. Graphics not updated. Both these teams, sitting at -108, -105, but Detroit has, I guess, that 3 cents of favoritism there. And the total sitting at 9 runs in this one. Derek Law on the mound for Cincinnati. Only has 2 starts this year. Really just opened up 2 games for them. Pitched 1 inning and 1 1/3. And then for Detroit has Reese Olson on the mound too. I like the kid. He's been pitching well. Had a couple rough ones. Was it 3 or 4 starts ago? But I'm going to lean towards Detroit in this spot. -108 doesn't really turn me off from this. And you've seen Cincinnati already win 2 games in this series. I really don't think Detroit gets swept. Both of these teams, though Cincinnati has a far better record, both these teams have had that sort of roller coaster of a season where they go on runs and then they stink and blah, blah, blah. I would put them in a similar bucket, right? And I just don't really see Cincinnati being the team that comes in there and sweeps, especially with, their pitching. Now they have an opener coming up for them, and their bullpen in their last 3 is a 6.36 ERA, the 1.46 WHIP. So very important to note there. I'll take the Tigers. In terms of a total, I really don't have much on this one. We saw a 5-6 game, and then we saw a 3-4 game right in the middle there. They're throwing this at 9, so I'm going to skip out on the total. Apologies for that, guys. All right, game number 1 of 2 for the Red Sox Yankees. I'm actually going to be at Fenway Park for game number 2 today, so hit me up on Twitter at FGuyBoston. It's right here if you guys do want to meet up or link up if you're going to be at the stadium. But we have Tanner Houck taking on Michael King. Houck's supposed to go yesterday, obviously. Michael King has been kind of on fire as of late. In his last 5, he's got a 0.8 ERA, which is absolutely crazy. Opposed to Tanner Houck's here, 2.8 ERA. I'm going to say what I said about this game yesterday, and I do believe it. Now, I don't like betting doubleheaders, especially when it's the game that was removed, right? So I'm more likely now probably to bet game number 2 here, but I also don't like betting game number 2 of doubleheaders. It's weird, all right? I got a weird thing with doubleheaders, but I do think that this is the type of series in which I said it before the series that these 2 teams would go 2-2 in the series, right? Well, the Yankees took games 1 and 2, so do the Red Sox rattle off 2 wins here? Potentially. You got to keep an eye on, obviously, the injury report and status updates because guys do sit one of the doubleheaders plenty of times, yada, 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 but I'll lean Red Sox on the money line, even though Michael King has been pitching really well. If you look back a couple years ago, he struggled against them. But again, 2 years ago, I don't want to put too much weight into it. Way different Red Sox team that we're looking at now today. The only issue I have here is the Red Sox are minus they're minus 120-ish, which I don't really love that spot. I mean, yes, it's not that juicy, but this to me should be sort of a -108, -108 type spot. So if they're overpriced, in my opinion, then it kind of turns me off a little bit, but they're only overpriced by that much. It's not like an old guy, don't mess with the thermometer, right? Or the thermostat or whatever it is. So give me the Red Sox on money line. In terms of what we're looking at for a total, 9 runs, 9.5 actually. Still might be wet out there. Give me the under. All right, Miami taking on Milwaukee. Miami pulls out the win yesterday. They have Yuri Perez on the mound today, going up against Adrian Hauser here. Adrian Hauser has not pitched in a couple weeks, 2.6 ERA in his last 5, however, up against Yuri Perez's 1.8 ERA in his last 5 here. The team is 3-2 when he does get the pitching. In terms of what we're looking at for hitting, both righties on the mound, and Miami just has not hit righties all that well. They're sitting at 218 in their last 10 with a 3.9 runs per 9 rate and a sub 300 on base percentage. Give me the Brewers in this spot for even odds. You can get that at plus 100 over on Caesars. I think you'd opened up, even you could see in the graphic, at plus 110 there. Would have loved to be able to get it there, but we haven't pulled the trigger on it. So give me them. Give me the underdogs. In terms of the total, I think that this is another under spot. Game number 1 was 12-0, right? And I told you guys, I was like, that just does not seem like, what we should be seeing from these 2 teams. I think that this is a spot in which, we see, again, it's sitting at 8.5. This is another spot in which we see probably, I would guess, like a 4-3 type of game, which is a 1.5 grace period there until we get to the number. So I'll take the under in that one as well as the Milwaukee Brewers on the money line. All right, the Mets taking on the Diamondbacks. I liked the Diamondbacks last night. I did, and they failed us. They get beat 7-1. That's 2 games in a row now that they win, or they let up 7 runs and lose by multiple runs. They win game number 1 of the series 4-3. We're thinking, great, yay, go Diamondbacks. That was one of the nights we swept, right? Then they lose 7-4. Then they lose 7-1. And it's like, what are we doing here? Zach Gallen was on the mound too. Shouldn't that be their only hope? Merrill Kelly is on the mound. He's been pitching really well. He has 1 bad start in his last 5, and it's against the Dodgers. I'm willing to throw that out the window and kind of say, okay, what have you done for me lately? 7 innings pitched against Colorado, 1 earned runs, 12 strikeouts there, 13 pitches per inning. Follows it up against the Cubs here with a 5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 6 strikeout performance. So hopefully he's a little hot, because I'm looking at the Diamondbacks again. Psycho alert alarm enabled. Yes, why am I doing that? Because I really just fade this Mets team. It's been costing me. They do have Kodai Senga on the mound, one of their better guys, but I just don't love it. And he had I don't even know how many innings he pitched. Back in July, he went deep against his Diamondbacks team, 12 strikeouts and only 1 earned run too. So you call me a psycho, I get it. That's why we sound the alarm. This might be one where you're like, yeah, let's fade the dude, because Diamondbacks for plus money is going to be my lean. Why? I just think that they do have a little bounce back in them. They scored 1 run yesterday. They have talent on that team, and I think Merrill Kelly actually can compete in terms of the pitching matchup today as well. If we look at it from an offensive perspective, Diamondbacks have been struggling against righties, but the Mets really haven't been all that great as of late either. So I'm going to lean towards the under 7.5 as well, hoping the Diamondbacks can just edge out like a 4-2, 3-2 type of a ball game, and this Mets team, who's been scoring a bunch of runs in this series, can kind of, come back down to earth. All right, thank you, please. All right, this one was a weird one yesterday. I leaned towards Texas, right? I liked them in the spot, and everyone was like, no way Toronto loses 3 in a row at home. Well, Texas wins 10-0. So I really wish I got the cojones up to make that a final play. We have 2 really good pitchers on the mound today. We have Nathan Eovaldi taking on Kevin Gausman, and as crazy as this is, another crazy play, I'm going to lean Texas again, just because you're getting plus 140 over on BetMGM. Now, I get it that this is probably the game that Toronto wins, and this may be the reason why this doesn't become a final play tonight, but I'm not paying minus 164 or beyond for, yes, that's old odds there, for a Toronto team that just has not looked good, or not looked all that good, right? And Kevin Gausman, obviously a really good pitcher. We could trust him. But this Toronto team, I do think, has the ability to get to him. In his last 3 starts here, he only has 1 good start against them. This Texas team can get to him. I think that, this is a spot where there's value on Texas. If you are on Toronto, fine. I already kind of admitted and bent the knee that this is probably the game that Toronto can win in this series, but it's way too much of a price tag for me to be paying for them. And Texas at plus 140 seems like you're getting like a buy one, get one free if they do end up winning type of thing. So I'll take Texas on the money line here. I'm trusting that their offense can continue to build and get ready for playoff baseball against righties in their last 10. 6.4 runs per 9, 289 average with an almost 400 on base percentage, averaging 1.5 home runs per game. There's something to be said. This offense is back. And if we had a Texas team that was firing on all cylinders, a couple months ago, going up against Kevin Gausman today, I don't think you'd be getting them at plus 140. So that is where I see the value. The place where you kind of lose me in the value train is the fact that, it's like, are the Texans going to win 4 in a row against Toronto at home? That gets a little dicey to me, but I'm curious to see what you guys have on this game in the comments. A lot of people were on Toronto yesterday, and it didn't look like it came to fruition. But in terms of what we have for a total, it's sitting at 8. I do like both pitchers in this spot, but I think that they can both give up, 3-ish runs today, which leaves the bullpen not much room to work with. I'll lean towards the over 8 ever so slightly. All right, guys, before we get into the next game, I do want to talk to you about today's sponsor, OddsJam. If you haven't checked out OddsJam yet, you are missing out in a bunch of tools that can help guys like you and me, or girls, beat the sportsbooks, guys. And you can get a 7-day free trial link with the link in my pinned comment, and you can also get 25% off your first month of a subscription if you choose to use that. And you can use code GUYBOSTON for 25% off. They have a sportsbook screen in which you can compare all market plays with other sportsbooks, so you know the best price and odds that you're getting on a play. They also have a plus EV tool that just spits out plus EV. If you don't know what that is, just Google what are plus EV betting, but spits out plus EV plays. Same thing thing with arbitrage. Arbitrage betting, I did a whole video on. It's on the channel right now, right on the channel, pinned to the top, if you do want to check that out. But essentially, you could take both sides of a bet. So, player X over, and then player X as well under whatever the line is. And if you get the right prices on both sports books, you can't lose based on profit, because one, the odds are just way too big of a discrepancy, and two, the guy's got to finish either over or under. Go check it out, guys. They have a tool for that as well. And again, you can get 7 days free with a 25% off discount if you use the code GUYBOSTON. They also have a daily fantasy sports, like a prize picks optimizer. Really, really, really have everything for every type of bettor. A parlay builder as well, if you want to algorithmically build your parlays and trust the computer over our dumb brains, right? But go check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. Let's get back to this game. We're looking at Baltimore taking on Tampa Bay, which I do think is going to be one of the better series that we've seen in a while here. You have Aaron Savale on the mound, too. He's looked pretty good. He's had a couple rough starts since becoming a Tampa Bay Ray, but going up against Kyle Bradish, who has been pretty flawless here, just not necessarily flawless against Tampa Bay. I wouldn't say struggled, but he's got a 3.3 ERA against Tampa Bay in his last few starts against them, compared to his 1.6 ERA over his last 5. So I do think Tampa Bay has what it takes to get to them today. And just like last game, I'm looking at the prices here, and plus 120 for Tampa Bay on the money line seems like I can't really pass it up. So give me them on the money line. Trusting Aaron Savale, I do think that he is a good pitcher and he can compete with Bradish and this Orioles offense, who, not to say the Orioles offense has been struggling, but the Orioles offense has been struggling. They scored 11 runs like 3 games ago, so I get it, but they scored 0 runs and 2 runs in their last 2 games, losing 3 of their last 4 games, that last one against the Red Sox, and then losing the series against St. Louis. Maybe they're on a little bit of a slide here, where I think Tampa Bay, is on the come up. So I'll take Tampa Bay on the money line. Total sitting at 8.5. Both these offenses, you got to look at them and say, okay, they're both kind of right in the same spot, even though, the Orioles have been struggling. Even still, in their last 10, they're batting .291 with a few bad games in there. So I'm going to lean towards the over 8.5. I do think the pitchers can keep these offenses down today, so that could kill it, but I'm much more inclined to taking the over with these two teams playing than the under, kind of regardless of pitching, if that makes sense. And also, guys, if you're still watching, go ahead and drop 17 in the comments. And I will say, if you could tell that my energy or voice is down or anything like that, I said it a couple of videos ago, we've been battling. I don't know if it's because we've been putting out so many videos, 16 videos last week that I'm in personally. I don't know if it's that or if we are actually getting sick, but the throat, the brain, everything seems like it's moving slow the last couple of days. But we're battling through it. We're grinding, guys. It's not that bad. Nothing that I'm alarmed about yet, but do feel a little bit under the weather. Like, if I like 75-degree weather, I'm feeling like 69, right? So it's like a little bit under the weather, not all that crazy, but yeah, go ahead and drop 17 and throw the word energy in with it to prove that you're a real one, guys. The Fade Squad knows what's up. The Guppies won't even understand. Go ahead and drop 17 energy in the comments. Game number 2 of the Red Sox-Yankees. We do not have any odds for this now because Boston does not have a starter indicated. Clark Schmidt, who I believe was supposed to pitch yesterday in game number 1, has now been moved to tonight. So Michael King gets moved up in pitches, but Boston has not announced who's starting there. And that's what I tell you guys about these doubleheaders, right? Like, just keep an eye on what's going on here. Yes, last time for the first 2 games of the series, the Yankees won both heads of a doubleheader. And then now I think the Red Sox will too, but we don't have any odds or anything like that on this game. So keep an eye on the pinned comment. I think I'm much more inclined to bet on this one, and like I told you guys, because I'm going to the game, so maybe there's a non-legitimate reason, but nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we end up rolling with or pulling the trigger on. And when there's a doubleheader, I always say, say it's Red Sox money line, right? It'll be Red Sox money line game 1 or game 2, like I specify in that to make it clear for you guys. But we don't have any odds, totals, lines, anything like that for this game yet. All right, White Sox taking on the Twins. Let's be honest, this really shouldn't be much of a contest. The Twins are coming off of losing 2 of 3 against Tampa Bay, but I think Tampa Bay is a little back, right? I keep saying it. So that isn't much of a blemish on their record. The White Sox have lost 7 of their last 10 here. You can get the Twins at -175 over on DraftKings right now. Yes, that's like, oh my God, -175. Well, it's in the -200s on FanDuel and BetMGM. So there is some value if you want to pay that juice, because you're actually getting a better price than any other sports book. So I'll take Minnesota on the money line. Total sitting at 9.5. I'm going to lean towards the under in this one. I really can't see, the White Sox kind of contributing to that. They're going up against Kenta Maeda today, who pitched, not all that great against them back in April. But nonetheless, I don't think that, it's not necessarily like I'm backing I'm more or less fading this White Sox offense here, who in their last 10 games batting just 240 against righties and 222 against righties in their last 5. On the mound for them is Jose Urena. Team is 0-1 when he pitches here in the last 5. Total is sitting, or his ERA is sitting at 3.4. Nothing really to see here, folks. I think the Twins win this game, but not in that much of like a blowout or a high-scoring type game. Colorado taking on San Francisco, and the damn books listen to me. They listen to me. I said these Colorado games, why are they at 11.5? Why are they at 12? Why are they at 12.5 for the totals? They should be right around 10.5, and that would make it a more legitimate number. Why'd I have to open my big stupid mouth? This total is sitting at 10.5. If this was 11.5, I would have loved it. Logan Webb on the mound going up against Chase Anderson. I have nothing really good to say about him other than he's pitched okay this season. But Logan Webb, obviously a good pitcher. 2.8 ERA over his last 5. The Giants here are just uber juiced, so I'm not going to be taking them on the money line. I'm going to take a peek at the under again. We have not really gotten ourselves to pull the trigger on the unders here, but I do think it's a good strategy. I wish I had started at the beginning of the year taking the under every time Colorado plays at home, because everyone thinks elevation, the line gets bumped all the way up into those crazy numbers, and they still cash more unders than they do overs at home. So yeah, wish we kind of sussed that one out earlier, but I'll take San Francisco maybe on the money line in some sort of a parlay. But with that elevation, I don't really think that the under is, or I should say the over is really in question, even with the elevation. San Francisco -1.5. You're considering, why wouldn't you take that? -155 for them to win by 2 runs today. No. So this game, if anything, makes a final play, it's probably going to be the under, which they bumped it down to 10.5. Makes me a little bit less comfortable, but that's all we got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Again, this is our flu game video. We're battling. Make sure to go check out the Thursday night football video. We got 3 plays in that as well. Hopefully we can get home to watch some of that game, because I will be at the Red Sox, but football season's here and I've been absolutely loving it. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter if you guys are going to the Red Sox game tonight. That'd be cool to meet some of you guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace out.